Hello guys, this is BruceGifford and I'm going to give you tips on how to keep everyone alive in Until Dawn. I know the game's been out for over a week, but in case you still haven't figured out how to keep everyone alive, or in case you're just buying the game right now and want to know, here's the surefire way to keep your characters alive. Jess is the first one in trouble, and the first time she's actually in trouble in the game is Chapter 4. First off, you're going to be playing as Mike, and he's going to be chasing after Jess as she's getting dragged away. Now, during this chase sequence, you're going to choose all the riskier options you can. Of course, that will cause more quick time events than usual, but you got to get there as fast as you can if you want to save Jess. Not only do you have to take the riskier paths, but you also have to try your best to not stumble too many times during the quick time events. Now, I was able to save Jess my first try in the Let's Play, and I did take one path that wasn't one of the risky paths, but I also didn't fail any of the quick time events. So it can be done where you take a safer route at least once, and you can stumble at least 2, maybe 3 times before you actually fail. Now, I think a lot of the people don't realize they have saved Jess by the end of this chapter because it's a little confusing. The way the sequence ends is Jess is in the elevator and she looks mangled, she looks like she's dead, but she's still breathing. And then suddenly the elevator drops out and she looks like she's died. Now, I think many people think automatically she's dead and we couldn't save her no matter what, and that's not true. That cutscene means she is still alive, but she will not show up until chapters 9 or 10. Now, if you get this cutscene instead, then she is dead. Now, the next person that can die in Until Dawn is Matt. And he's in trouble in Chapter 6. And honestly, there's 2 ways that this character can die. He can die right away by these deer. And what you want to do is just calmly walk through the deer and don't use your axe. Whatever you do, do not use your axe. Otherwise, this will happen. So yeah, he falls off the cliff and you have to deal with a bunch of quick time events in order to get him up onto the cliff again. And if you fail, you're dead. Now, the second way that Matt can die is some event that happens right after the fire tower. So one of the things you can do to save him is hand Matt the flare gun. Now, here's where it gets a little tricky. Back in Chapter 5, if you had Matt decide to disagree with M's plan, then he's going to keep the flare gun. Now, if you decide to agree with M's plan, which is probably the smartest idea, unfortunately it'll backfire and he will shoot the flare up as so, and rendering the flare gun completely useless. And so when the fire tower falls down, if you decide to save M and you do not have the flare gun, unfortunately you are completely screwed because you are going to die a horrible death. Now, if you have disagreed with M's plan and you gave Matt the flare gun, then he is able to save himself when he tries to save M. And then he can use the flare gun to save himself. Now, if you don't want to deal with any of this flare gun business, there is a surefire way to keep Matt alive during this moment without the flare gun. All you have to do is abandon Emily. That's all you have to do. Jump for safety, and he is completely safe all the way up until Chapter 10. Now, in Chapter 10, both Matt and Jess will show themselves again, and they get a level together. If you've got both of them alive, they will be together and you will be playing as Matt. But if you do not have Matt alive for some reason, you will be playing as Jess. Now, this is the last thing you have to do in order to save Matt and Jeff. You just have to hide from the Wendigo, And then once you hide, you have to make sure to catch Jess. Otherwise, you are both dead. And then with the final choice, you have to not abandon Jess. Hide together, break through the wall, and then hold still, and you're safe. After this is done, both characters will survive till dawn. So that's all you have to do for Jess and Matt for the rest of the game. Now the third person that can die in Until Dawn isn't until Chapter 8, and that is with Emily. Now at the end of Chapter 7, you find out that Emily is still alive, and you get to play as her as she goes through the mines. Now in Chapter 8, she discovers the guy with the flamethrower and the Wendigo. And there's a certain point where you got to survive from the Wendigo. Now there are some quick time events, and here you can see I did stumble a bit, but you're safe there still. You can stumble, and you want to go left. I'm surprised not many people went left. I mean, the higher percentage is right. They don't see the elevator shaft sign. I don't know. Now, if you had not stumbled at all, and you did go left right away, then you will not have to hold still for the Wendigo at this point. Unfortunately, I did stumble with one of the quick time events, and so that's why I have to not move the controller during this moment. Once you get out, you're going to go up on this conveyor belt, and when you get the option to either stay on the conveyor belt or leave, leave. It's one less quick time event you'll have to deal with. If you successfully make it, you will survive with Emily, and she will be good to go.
It bit me and bit you. What bit you? The Wendigo.
What?
It's nothing, really. It's not.
However, she is still not completely safe in this level. If you had not given Emily the flare gun, she is not able to defend herself against the Wendigo. And so no matter what, she will get bit. If she gets bit, Mike and a few other people think that she might turn into a Wendigo, and so they get panicked and scared. Now, and so Mike will draw a gun, and you get to play as Mike. Easily, all you have to do is not shoot her. Just do nothing, and she will be completely fine. I shot her because I needed to get another trophy, and one of the trophies is, if you shoot Emily, you get a trophy, and I needed to still get that, so that's the only reason I'm showing you that I shot him. Now the fourth person that can die in Until Dawn is also in Chapter 8, and that is Chris. There will be a point when you follow the man with the flamethrower and you face the Wendigo. All you have to do to survive is to make sure you shoot the Wendigo. You can even blow up the gas tank if you want. The last one, you do have to blow up the gas tank. And all you have to do is finish all the quick time events, shoot the Wendigo, and you're good. There's one catch though. Back when Chris and Ashley are strapped and saws are coming down and they have to choose, and Chris has to choose who to shoot, do not aim the gun at Ashley and do not shoot her. If you either decide to shoot Chris or just do nothing, you will be completely safe and you will be able to survive Chapter 8. Because if you do shoot Ashley or aim the gun at her initially, she will not let Chris in and he will die by the Wendigo. No matter how many quick times or how many times you shoot the Wendigo, he will die. Now I'm not completely sure, but I think Mike is the next one that is in trouble, and he is in trouble in Chapter 9. Now, what I mean, he might be in trouble, I'm not sure. I've never failed this area, so I'm not sure if he can actually die. But all you have to do is make sure to shoot the Wendigos and finish all the quick time events, and you'll be fine. And also, when you get left with the choice to go left or right, go left. As an added bonus, barricade the door as well. If you barricade the door, and you're friends with the wolf, then the wolf will survive by the end, and that's a little. You don't get credit for it, but it's a nice little bonus you can add to saving all the characters. And when you're in the room with all the exploding barrels, you can just shoot the Wendigo twice and not shoot the barrels, and you will survive. It's just that Sam will have to save him now, but you can blow up the exploding barrels and you'll be fine, and Sam will not have to save you at the sanatorium. She will have to save you, though, when you're in the mines, and that's what you see here. The sixth person who can die in Until Dawn is finally Ashley, and this is also Chapter 9. Now I know what you're thinking, what about the whole Saw business, and you had to choose between Ashley and Josh? Well, technically, no matter which way you throw the switch, Josh is going to get buzzsawed because, let's face it, if you know the twist, it makes sense that the whole thing is rigged. So, in all honesty, Ashley is not in trouble at all. Now keep in mind, if you still want to keep Chris alive as well, you're going to have to make him join the group and not stay behind, because he could be in danger. Now when Ashley gets separated with the group, you can decide to investigate the voice, and I encourage you to do so if you want to get all the totems, because there is a totem in that area. But what you do not want to do is open the trapdoor, because if you open the trapdoor, this is how Ashley can die finally. And so all you have to do is don't interact with the door and just keep going straight and you're fine with Ashley. But if you open the door, this is what happens. Now the seventh person that can die in Until Dawn is finally Josh. And there's a really simple way to save him. Now a lot of people say that you have to get all of the twin clues in order to survive with Josh. But having played a second time and having missed one of the twin clues, I was still able to save Josh. All you have to do is make sure you get the last two clues for the twins, which is conveniently in the room right before you meet Josh. Over to the left, before you get into the water, there is Beth's watch, and then once you get into the pool of water, go left again over by the wheel, and you will find Hannah's diary. If you find these items, then Sam will tell Josh about what happened to Hannah, and instead of getting his head crushed by the Wendigo, he'll get dragged off and he will technically survive.
What does it mean? Jesus.
And of course, during the final conflict of the game, you got Sam and Mike who are in trouble. And the surefire way to save them both is that once you get the option to either save Mike or just run to the switch and abandon him, save Mike. And it is grueling because you'll have to deal with 3 moments where you have to stay absolutely still. But if you set the controller down on the table or in any flat surface and don't move it, you're completely fine and you will survive the night with all 8 characters. Okay, I hope I helped any of you out if you're having troubles, and you can use this knowledge to save all 8 of the characters or experiment and save just the ones that you want to save. Take this information and do whatever you want with it.